welcome to the show. Glad you guys could take the time to have a chat with me today.
No, I appreciate it, Rob. Thank you very much for having
Thanks
us
for
on.
having us.
We've been planning this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a slightly different format today, and obviously straight off the bat, we're all kind of repping very similar gear. Obviously, this has been a partnership kind of a long time in the making now, probably over maybe a year or so. When we first got introduced and you guys told us about this incredible challenge undertaking, I still can't wrap my head around, just the scale of this. But obviously wanted to take the time to have you guys tell a little bit about your story, about your background, about kind of, why you're doing such an incredible feat, pushing yourself. Obviously we'll dive into, such an incredible cause that you guys have committed this to as well. I just wanted to kind of give our audience, give our network a little bit of context behind, who you guys are and what motivates you. So Chris, do you want to kind of give a little quick rundown of yourself?
Yeah, great. Thank you very much, Rob. And appreciate you having us on. It's been hard work, getting into a room or a forum, all three of us together, working all over the world in different time zones and whatnot. So it's great to finally actually get all three of us in a room chatting. I was just in Fort Worth. I apologize, I didn't get to see you, but I got to meet Jeff and another Chris. We're all called Chris, so that was great to meet those guys. But I'm Chris Ambler, and I am the number 2 on the boat. Kip is the skipper. I've known Kip for what is it now, 25 years. We met on the first day of secondary school.
Wow.
Became great friends right from day one. We were kind of dumped in that classroom together, and we saw each other through secondary school and then our adult lives. So it's the perfect guy to be trapped on a tiny boat with for the next 50 days or whatever it is going to take us.
Yeah, so I'm also a Chris. I'm Chris Wells, also known as Kip Wells. Like Chris said, we've known each other for 20 plus years. Met on the first day of secondary school. I currently serve in the UK Armed Forces. I'm in the Royal Air Force. I'm an air and space operations specialist. I've been doing that for over a decade. And I'm hoping some of that translates to skippering this boat. As Chris says, he's number 2, I'm number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. You on Wi-Fi or 3G?
I was on the G, but let me flick to the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is usually less reliable. Right, I'm on the Wi-Fi now. I can't see any numbers. Is that any better?
We can hear you better.
Sounds better, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm Chris Wells, another Chris, but people call me Kip. Like Chris said, we've known each other for well over 20 years. I currently serve in the UK Armed Forces. I'm in the Royal Air Force. I've been in for over a decade, and I work as an air and space operations specialist. So I'm hoping some of that OPSI skill can translate into this transatlantic row.
Yeah. So how did you guys even become aware of the row in the first place?
That's good.
So probably 10 years ago, the people that organised the row, Atlantic Campaigns, they started making these amazing documentaries, like 40-minute documentaries. And I was hooked, as a sportsman and a competitor. I thought it sort of challenged everything, so, mental, physical. And never in a million years, I think I'll be able to get my own boat, my own team and attempt it. Fast forward sort of 8 years from there, I ended up working with someone who was about to embark on it. And he really showed me the details, what, all the ducks you need to get in a row, so to speak. And I thought it's actually quite possible. You just need to get the right team around you. So that was me. That was me then asking everybody I knew, do you want to row across the Atlantic? To which almost everybody said no. Fortunately, Chris had just come back from Baku, and we had our We go out for a curry every time Chris comes back, and I just laid it out for him. I was like, "Mate, do you wanna do this thing? Do you want to row across the Atlantic?" And he was absolutely not. Um, and then he was like, "Well, that's my dream over." And we carried on, just having our meal, having a nice chat. And then he was like, "Well, how long is it going to take?" And then I was like, "Boom, he's in." And that's where it started, really.
Chris, Chris, other than the initial resounding no, what was your first thought? I mean, when someone hears rowing across the Atlantic, that's not to sound hyperbolic, but it sounds insane, right?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I've spent quite a lot of my time offshore, and the amount of hours that I've spent walking around a heli deck in the middle of the ocean, just looking out there, thinking, "Man, that's so big. I feel so small." It's very humbling when you're out there, and to me, it just sounded absolutely crazy. Like, do people actually do this? Like, that's not just like climbing Everest. It's not like the Marathon des Sables or anything like that. This is the ocean. This is ridiculous. So my initial getting my head around it was just quite difficult. And then as he starts telling me, pairs are usually like 50 days, and you go with the trade winds, and this, that, and everything else. The more you talk about it, the more kind of feasible it sounds, and your brain just starts going like, yeah, I could probably do this. I think I'm mentally there. I think I'm physically there. I think, yeah, we could probably, if we could get the boat and get all those ducks in a row, then yeah. And then the more you look into it, the more the closer you get to it. And before you know it, we've signed up, and then we're like, oh, okay, now we're committed, and now we've got to get going. But Kip tells his story every single time about how we get into it, because it's all Kip's thing. It's all his fault. And every time he tells that story, he tells how he spoke to everyone, and then he got to me, which means I'm the bottom of the. I'm the last person that he wants to run an ocean, and it hurts every time, Rob. I'm not going to lie to you. It hurts.
It's not true. He was just out the country.
Yeah, it's just a matter of convenience. Matter of
Yeah,
convenience.
yeah.
But you
Okay,
got to wonder, yeah, as each person said no, you got to wonder. I'm sure Kip was adjusting the type of person that he's asking to be like, someone's got to say yes, but maybe they got to be a little bit out there, a little bit more willing to take risks.
That's it.
mainly because I'm out of the country so much, and yeah, where would you start with somebody like me? And it has been an issue in the campaign. And also, I'm just big into my weights. I don't like cardio. Cardio is hardio. I don't like it. So, I'm probably the last person you would ask.
How has your preparation and specifically like your training evolved over time? Because I would imagine for most people that they've done a half marathon or a marathon, they start it. Yeah, I'll get a little regimen going, a schedule, get the cardio build up, maybe eat a little better. But I'm sure now that you guys are probably about 6 months out, I'm sure that process is starting to change and get a bit more intense. Like, tell me how that process has been for you guys.
Sure, I'll jump in first because Kip's actually a lot more impressive than I am. So, I'm just for me, I was a pure meathead. I just like to lift weights, get big, be strong, and I'm happy. Um, Cardio, the most I'd kind of ran was like 5K, and it never got easier. Through the COVID times, I was trying my best to get to the end of a 5K and actually feel like, that was easy.
Mm.
Never happened. It was always just as hard. That last kilometer is always impossible. We grew up playing rugby, so, I'm physically fit, but I was never really too bothered about my cardio. So this is completely swung it the opposite direction now. We are full on cardio, high intensity cardio, low intensity cardio, endurance. Not so much on the heavy weights. We're still doing quite a lot of compound lifts where we're getting a lot of like compound training in with strength training, but more focused on the cardio and in the conditioning of our bodies, because we will be for most of the time in that zone 2, pushing zone 3 kind of area. But there's going to be times where we'll be absolutely flat out for as long as we can go. And then there's going to be slower times. But it's mainly going to be in that zone 2, 3, and then pushing the 4 and 5 quite regularly. And recovery is a big thing. So my training has just it's the exact opposite to what I enjoy doing. But in that, I have actually learned to enjoy the cardio, and I'm absolutely loving our sessions now. It's great. We have a PT who's his name's Kyle. He works with the British Armed Forces, so he's used to preparing. I don't know. I was going to say elite guys, then, but guys for tough expeditions. Preparing them for situations that are not normal. So he's looking after our mental preparation and our physical preparation. And then we also have an ocean rowing coach, which is Duncan Roy. I describe him as the Michael Jordan of ocean rowing. He's got a few world records to his name, and he is the go-to guy to learn how to row an ocean. So we've got a great team behind us, and having the humility to just submit yourself to those guys and trust in their processes has been really great for me in my training.
Yeah, Kip, I want to know from your perspective, because Chris just kind of touched on it a little bit. Obviously, being part of the Royal Air Force, you've gone through maybe not similar training, but training to not only sharpen your physical capabilities, but your mental aspect as well. How do you think that's going to play into, or maybe again, you're kind of the skipper on this voyage? Where do you think your strengths can kind of help you guys as a team, kind of help pick Chris up in certain areas, or has this been? Do you think this is going to be a totally new, unique experience in terms of physical and mental preparation?
That's a great question. I think there's some crossover between the military and ocean rowing. Genuinely, I think ocean rowing. I mean, us having never rowed an ocean, and I don't think many people that do it have rowed oceans previously. It's half sailing, half soldiering in my book. Our coach mentioned that, and I was like, yeah, that sums it up really well. A lot of the hard stuff is the discipline to do the little things. So boiling, like spending an hour to boil water for you and your oppo to be able to eat food for the day. Things like that. Like sitting on the oars is almost the easy bit. Sounds crazy because you're pulling like a million strokes across the Atlantic. But the hard bit is those little 1%ers that are going to make the biggest difference. We call it's 5% effort for 80% comfort. So it's all about squaring away your food, squaring away your buddy on the boat. And that's what soldering is about. So I think my military experience will hopefully cross over into that sort of ocean rowing, soldiering sphere.
Yeah, because it's almost like you're you are voluntarily putting yourself in a very like high pressure kind of uncomfortable scenario, right? Like not that you're trapped, but you're stuck in this very small confined situation for 40, 50 days, and you've got a goal in mind that's kind of helping you push yourself. But that's got to be I mean, I can only imagine, a few days into it, you're probably still riding high on the fact that you've started this, but like that midway point, 25, 30 days on a boat out in the middle of the ocean, I can't even imagine what that test would be like.
Yeah, and that's where we sort of lean into our why and our purpose and things like that. And a big part of our boat, anyway, we want a happy boat. So cheerfulness and adversity, that's a massive one for us. It may suck, but you can still be happy about it. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's got to help you get through those moments that I'm sure are going to come up where you just go, why the hell have we done this?
Yeah. And it's not going to last forever.
No, just to jump in there, and you touched on that, voluntarily putting ourselves in that position. Again, we'll touch on our why later on when we get there, but something that we're both quite keen on is voluntary adversity. Voluntarily having a cold shower in the morning, voluntarily working hard in the gym, pushing yourself, to those limits. That we choose to do that. There's lots of people out there that choose to do it, and that voluntary adversity is something which I find helps me massively in my personal growth and in my mental health as well. So, yeah, to voluntarily put yourself in the middle of the ocean. It's that next level for us. We don't know how it's going to go, but we're happy to put ourselves in that position, and hopefully we can handle it well.
Yeah, in terms of structure of the race, because I imagine that the organization itself has to account for any sort of emergency situation, or if teams for whatever can't finish. So like kind of tell us a little bit about how that works in terms of, are there other like boats kind of traveling along with you guys that are readily available, or is it in like, you can end up in a sticky situation and help can't come for 6-8 hours? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so exactly that. There's Atlantic Campaigns. They have a safety yacht which sort of sails. It follows the fleet basically, but the fleet is 42 teams made up of teams of 5 to solo rowers, and the spread can be well over 1,000 miles. So if you're in aid of, say, a new rudder, and the safety yacht can get it to you, you still might be waiting for 7 days, 8 days, 10 days, whatever it is, bobbing about without a rudder. There's also sort of the rule of the sea. So we have certain emergency beacons on our boat. So if we are in big trouble, we can just clack one of those off, and the nearest vessel to you should come to your aid, which sounds fantastic, but they also may be a couple of days away. And when they get to you, we're in a 7 meter ocean rowing boat, and they're in a 200-meter oil tanker cruiser, whatever it is. So that's almost the most dangerous part of the recovery.
Yeah, it's literally like finding a needle in a haystack. You got a big
Yeah.
cargo ship blowing through, feeling like they know exactly where to go and what to look for. But yeah, you're tiny out there.
That's it. And they're not going to drop you off in Antigua either, where we want to go. Getting on that boat and it's going to China or Canada or wherever. That's where you're going.
Yeah. How are you guys preparing? And I'm sure, again, leading up to the actual event itself, once you're closer, you may nail some of these things down. But how are you guys preparing for all these different outcomes?
Drills. So we are, obviously we cannot drill for every eventuality. We have our goal. Now our goal is to be the most prepared ocean rowing team to ever row an ocean, and that will give us the best chance to win the pairs class. So that's our goal, is to win the pairs class, but mainly to be as well drilled and prepared as we can be. So we're drilling. If we have incredibly difficult weather that we can't row in, what do we do? It's pointless burning calories and fighting the weather, so we drop the power anchor. So we're doing that day and night, drilling it over and over and over again to make sure that we know exactly where the power anchor is. And just to clarify, the power anchor is just a huge parachute. We don't have an anchor that will reach the bottom because it's a few 100 miles deep, I think, something like that. So it's a parachute which trails behind the boat, and it'll hold the boat in a relatively still position during the bad weather. So we're drilling that. We're drilling the man overboard. What happens if somebody falls over the side of the boat? We need to turn the boat around, stop it as fast as we can, clack off one of the beacons, and try and throw a rope to the guy. If he doesn't get the rope, then you try and row back towards him and all that kind of stuff. If the boat catches fire or if the boat sinks, we've drilled that. Obviously, we can't do it for real because I don't want to set my brand new boat on fire. But we've gone through all of the drills. Almost everything that could happen, we've drilled it and drilled it and drilled. And the outcome's going to be different every time. So like Kip said, the boat could be 4 hours away or it could be 4 days away. Help, We do also have a life raft on board. So if we do have a major issue where the boat gets either stuck upside down or it starts to sink for whatever reason, then we have a life raft which we can deploy. We can get on it. We've got supplies we can throw in there to last for a few days, and another emergency beacon that we could clack off to make sure somebody can at least find us.
Sure.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, first off, like the why behind this event and how that has kind of informed, some of the charitable aspects and the impact that this competition is going to have outside of just obviously, the personal growth and pushing yourself to achieve, a monumental milestone like this?
Um, yeah, so the charity we're raising money for is the Jon Egging Trust. Um, and it's almost like a full circle moment, really. So me and Chris both faced different challenges growing up in our sort of early years, school years, and we didn't really talk about it at all until the row, and we decided which charities to sort of raise money for. But I'll let Chris go into that. He tells it really well. But long story short, um, the Jon Egging Trust are now in the school that me and Chris went to, and they're helping kids that are facing, or young people that are sort of facing challenges with schooling. I mean, the challenge could be at home and it's affecting school, or their challenge could be with school. And the Jon Egging Trust basically provide them an outlet sort of away from the classroom and give them sort of different opportunities to learn in different environments, hoping or steering them to a more meaningful employment when they do leave school. And we're just trying to basically help almost our younger selves in a sort of full circle moment. Yeah.
So Kip suggested the Jon Egging Trust, and we looked at it, and uh, STEM for young kids facing adversity. That's brilliant. I like to support the STEM movement. I think that's really valuable. It's kind of what helped me get through my adversity as a child, and yeah. So when I was younger, I faced some adversity as a child. My parents split up, and as is the norm in the UK, is you go to your mother. She takes you. But for me, that was the worst outcome for me. My mother was she was never there. She was into drugs and alcohol and that kind of stuff, and the kids kind of got left behind and forgotten about. So we had to kind of walk ourselves to school, and when you're 5 years old, it's difficult to manage that kind of stuff on your own. So this is what we did. So we often didn't go to school, or we didn't eat our dinner, or we didn't go to the clubs or anything like that. And my dad was incredible. He would come down every weekend, pick us up. He used to drive like 4 hours there to pick us up, drive us back 4 hours on a Friday, and do the same again on a Sunday. And it would all be outdoor adventure with him, and learning about cars and aeroplanes and space and rugby, new sports, new stuff. And he kind of like opened our horizons and literally opened our skies, showed us what we could do. And the Jon Egging Trust does exactly that for these disadvantaged kids. It opens up the world to them, which my dad did for me. Obviously, these guys don't have that. So the Jon Egging Trust take that spot, and it's incredible to see, the clouds lifted from these kids as they come in as shy, anxious, very, very reserved, introverted children, and they put them up on the high ropes, or they'll take them out on an airplane, or they'll take them to the space center and stick them in a G-force machine, and it's amazing to see them stand up and then give a presentation in front of 200 people. We had one of the graduates at our boat launch event do a presentation, and there was 200 people there. There was Jordan Murphy, like an international rugby legend there, and all these people, and she just stood up and she just smashed it out, and she was incredible. So it's great, and as Kip says, that full circle moment of going through our own adversity as children and then supporting the Jon Egging Trust is just great. And they're in our school, they're doing exactly that at our school that we went to. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. And when we first started this challenge, it was we're big hard men, and we can push ourselves, and we can achieve this. But as it's gone on, it's less about that, and that is now like 3% of what this whole campaign is about. And now it's 97% given back to these kids, and it's supporting the charity, getting their name out there, and trying to raise as much as we can for them.
Yeah, that has to be the thing, that when you hit those moments of, why the hell did I do this? It's like, if that's playing through your head the whole time, not only do I imagine, would it give you that constant renewed sense of I guess that why, that renewed sense of, you have no doubt in your mind why you're doing this. And I would imagine too that, between you and the other competitors, Chris, you said earlier that you have this goal in mind to be the most prepared, two men row in this challenge. And it sounds like you've got some pretty lofty goals in terms of your time and pace you want to set. A why like that has to set you guys apart from the rest of the field, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it goes to show, just to our own selves, from the start of the campaign to now, at the big manly macho kind of thing, that's diminished now. That's gone. And that would have got you through a few days in the ocean. It's this that's going to get us through the rest of the 40 days or whatever it will be.
It's almost like the challenge in the ocean will put you in a very humbled place, whether you want it to or not. And so you almost have to have that, this is not about me. This is not about me breaking the will of the ocean, because no one can do that.
No,
And it's just a reminder that, even while you're doing this, is not about you. It's about these kids that were in a position that you guys grew up in, or that's meaningful to you now.
Absolutely. And we just finished our offshore survival course, and the instructor there, Dawn, she's rowed the Atlantic a couple of times now, and she said, this is the offshore survival training, and that's exactly what it is. It's to survive. So you will never stop the ocean. You will never be able to outlive that ocean at all. You just need to learn how to survive on it. And then back to what Kip said, a happy boat is a fast boat. We need to be able to thrive out there in that suboptimal conditions that we have on our boat. That's the only thing we can control, is what's going on that boat, and we just have to survive on that ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys are roughly 6 months out from the launch. Yeah, is that about right? In terms of timeline?
Yeah, that's right. So typically the race starts December 12th.
December 12th. So pretty much bang on it. So what's next? Each month that goes by, what sort of schedule are you guys looking at? What's the training going to look like? Kip, you said earlier, in terms of food, water, supplies, equipment, all that kind of stuff. I imagine, do you guys have everything laid out in terms of timelines? This is where we need to be by certain dates.
Yeah, so there's a few dates we need to have certain things by. We're still procuring quite a lot of equipment, but we have our first pre-shipping inspection, which is with the safety team, on the 2nd of August, and that's your initial, or the safety team's initial look at your admin. What kit have you got? What kit do you need to get? Have you got a plan on how to get that? Have you documented what systems drain what voltage on which battery, for example? Can you give me an example of your how you're planning your calories out for the day? What's your breakdown with dry meals, wet meals? How many calories are in your snack pack? All these things, they get wrapped up in that day. And from that point on, August to when we ship the boat, we have to have everything squared away.
Is there a potential, obviously in the back of your head, you turn up for, I guess you could call it an audit like that type of inspection? If you guys aren't ready to go, do they sometimes say, look, no, you guys are way too far behind? Is there a possibility that you guys could kind of get, basically pulled from participating in this?
If you got to La Gomera, the race start, and the safety team were not happy, they wouldn't let you go. They wouldn't let you leave the marina at all.
Yeah.
And that's why that first pre-shipping inspection is so important. And it's important to have, it's fine to not have everything, but you just need to have a plan of how you're going to get that.
Yeah, so the race organizer Atlantic Campaigns have done a great job of making this endeavor as safe as it could possibly be. So this is why they're so strict on all of the pre-shipping admin. So we have to hit 120 hours training on the boat, on the water. And we have to document everything that we do. So we have to be able to show photographic evidence of us steering out of the marina. We have to show photographic evidence of us plotting in chart waypoints in the chart plotters so we can navigate. We have to show that we can put the anchor out. We have to show that we can operate the safety systems, and we have to document all of it. And we have to do it all at nighttime as well. So there's an absolute mountain of admin which Kip has had to do because he's a whiz on the computer and I'm not. So he's keeping track of all those hours logged, all of the equipment that we've activated and we're happy with. Kip's also working on the calorie plan. We have to take enough calories to get us across, and we have to take surplus. So he's in charge of looking after all of that for us. And then the other prep is the physical prep and the mental prep. We have to train hard and we have to get fitter and stronger, but we also need to not get injured as well. So it's that balance now, and we need to be peaking just at the right time. So the schedule's full on. We're training 5 days a week, 6 if you're counting the pliability, the mobility test training that we're doing. Still procuring a whole load of equipment. A lot of the equipment that we need is like long lead time. So the life rafts, they're a good 6 weeks. The power anchors are 6 weeks. So we're just squaring away all these things and then taking it to the shipping company, which is another milestone. That's coming up at the end of September. We have to have everything shipped away to La Gomera. So it's full on, serious.
There's a lot to do between now and December 12th. But I really appreciate you guys kind of giving us a little bit of backstory about yourselves. Again, how you got involved with this, despite the reluctance and the long list of of people that Kip had to go through to get rejections before someone finally said yes. But no, basically what I want to do to kind of close this session out is allow you guys to talk about how the people listening and how our network can get involved. Because it sounds like, yeah, you guys are absolutely crushing it in terms of planning, preparation, but I'm sure there's things that people can do in terms of donations, whether it's through yourself or to the Jon Egging Trust. So either one of you guys, if you want to take a few seconds to kind of plug how people can get involved and follow along as we lead up to starting this challenge.
Yeah, great. I'll jump in on this one. This is my wheelhouse. Kip does all the prep and I do all the selling. So first off, we have the 250 Club, and that's our core supporters. We now have between 50 and 60 key supporters now. They've all paid £250 to the campaign. And that helps us with our basics. It goes towards the food, it goes towards the shipping, it goes towards anything that we need to get to actually get to the start line. And the 250 Club, we get these really cool t-shirts, they get the bag of goodies, they get they actually get the name on the boat. We have in the UK we call it a Go Faster stripe. You know, the Mustangs, where they have the stripe across the bonnet. We have one around the side of the boat in this Dayglow orange, so everyone's got their name on the boat. Priority tickets to all the galas, and we do different competitions as well, where you get to win other cool merchandise and whatever. And we're hoping to have a grand prize of 2 tickets to Antigua if we can find the right person and get enough 250 Club members. So that's the first way you can donate. Second, if you know people or yourself that would be able to donate towards equipment, you know, we have safety equipment we need to get. If you're a health and safety company or what have you, if you could donate some equipment, that'd be great, and we can put your name on the boat as well and do some really cool things with your business, integrate with your marketing. And then we have the different levels of sponsorship. So CCL, you guys were our first sponsor, but you are also a gold sponsor. So you guys jumped in there early on when we were just an ocean rowing team without a boat. And if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have been able to secure our boat build, and we'd be struggling to get a boat right now. So CCL have absolutely like kickstarted this campaign off for us. You gave us credibility, and you've been on it for the long haul. So you've got the most out of the marketing. So if there's any other companies that want to jump in, support the campaign, and offer the sponsorship to the campaign, then that's another way. And the last and final way is to donate straight to the Jon Egging Trust. If you're, again, an individual or a company that wants to donate to the Jon Egging Trust and be affiliated with the Force Horizon Atlantic Row, then you can donate straight to them direct. We have a give wheel, so it doesn't come through our accounts. It goes straight to the charity. You can it's all tax free, and it's all transparent, and it's all done on the give wheel. They do it all for us, and Jon Egging Trust sign up to give wheel, so you can donate straight through the give wheel. What we are looking for is a couple of companies that would be willing to do like a donation match. So if up to a certain amount, for example, you would match up to $5,000 worth of donations, or for every dollar you'll put $1 in, up to a certain amount. So we're looking for a couple of companies that would be interested in doing a donation match for when we set off, because it'd be really cool to have like a counter going from the day that we leave to the day that we get there, counting up all those donations, and we've got the potential to almost double that through a couple of companies that are willing to donate match. So that's what we're looking for. They're the three ways that we can get involved. They are all on the website, www.forcehorizon.com, or you can follow us on the Instagram. And do we have Facebook, Kip?
Yep. Yeah, we do.
Facebook, yeah. Or you could get in touch with yourself, Rob, and you can pass them on to me if you know any links. Anyone from CCL will be able to get hold of me, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're definitely going to continue to do our best to share all the links and opportunities for people to help out and get involved, from, like you said, the individuals at the 250 club level, all the way up to companies either doing a donation match, or equipment, services, supplies, etc. It definitely sounds like, all hands on deck are needed here. Guys, both Chris and Kip, it was great chatting with you guys. I really appreciate you walking me through all the moving parts on this challenge. Like I say, it's really, truly an unbelievable undertaking you guys have gotten yourselves involved with. And even more impressive is that why behind this challenge. So I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to speaking with you guys again to hear more updates.
Rob, thanks for having us. It's been a pleasure, mate. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.